Another brother.
Another brother. Another slave of the empire. You understand?
YouTube, sir.
Read it one more time.
And when he went out the second day, behold, two men of the Hebrews strove together.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to him that did the wrong, wherefore smitest thou thy fellow?
Mm-hmm. So he's no. What does that happen? What happened then?
Moses saw him and checked the person that was wrong within the struggle between the brothers, and was saying,
he checked the one that he saw was wrong. He don't know who is wrong because that's the first time he's seeing him. You get the point? But from what he's seeing, he checked the one he think is wrong. Right? Go ahead.
And he's saying, what reason do you have to smite your brother?
Keep reading.
And he said, who made thee a prince and a judge over us?
Mm-hmm.
Intendest thou to kill me as the killest the Egyptian?
Say that today. Somebody don't Alabama. How would somebody say it? Paint the picture.
Okay, all right. You
okay, let me get more specific. Your cousin, your friend cousin, and whoever who killed him, they fighting.
Right.
And Moses comes up, Vice President of America. Go.
Man, how you gonna tell this man not to kill us, but the whole time you have orders for y'all people killing? I mean, for the people that you work for.
That's what we're saying. Read it one more time and focusing on it. Read it one more time.
Okay.
Come on.
And he said, who made thee a prince and a judge over us?
Mm-hmm.
Intendest thou to kill me as thou killed the Egyptian?
All right. So what are they telling the vice president?
Who gives you the right to judge me?
Mm-hmm.
When you have all intentions of killing me as you killed the other brothers, or as
who did Moses kill?
Or he killed the Egyptian.
And who would that be today?
The police.
So what is he telling him?
He's telling me like, okay, who are you to judge us or judge me or judge us when you
that's it, keep going. You have it.
When you killed the cop the other day.
That's it. You understand the conversation?
Come.
What is that telling me? Moses went out one day and saw what? He saw the Egyptians beating the Hebrews.
Right.
You go out on the streets right now and the National Guard is cracking skulls of black people, not white people. White people not getting beat.
Right.
Even they the ones lighting the city on fire.
Mm-hmm.
He went out the next day and saw what? Crips versus Bloods. GDs versus Latin Kings.
Right.
You get the point? He saw, Southeast versus Northeast. You understand? That's what he saw. Both of them happening in Egypt. What is that telling me?
It's the same place.
And it's happening because why?
Because we're slaves.
Because we're slaves.
Right.
Right? Your friend, he's a slave. His cousin's a slave. The man who killed his cousin is a slave. And his cousin died not because we're black, but because we're in slavery.
Right.
You understand?
Oh, okay.
That's why his cousin died. Because we're in slavery. And if he really loved black people, he would pray for this empire to fall.
Right.
But he's not praying for this empire to fall. So guess what? This is what you tell him. More of his cousins are going to die.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Come.
Tell him that. Tell him that. More of his cousins are going to die.
Right.
If the longer this empire lives,
that's right.
More of us are going to die. In order for us to live, this empire needs to die.
Right.
The two cannot be the same. It's like a scale or a balance. One goes up, the other one goes down.
Right.
You understand? That's how this life is. Now he could come in here and learn how to teach his cousins. If he loves his cousins, he would come in here and learn what to say to them, learn how to teach them. learn how to tell them to live. But he does not even love his dead cousin. You understand? You lose something in this place, blame the white man. You understand? Blame him. He's the devil. He's the root of all your problems. Name me some problems we have in this empire.
Child molestation.
Child molestation. Where did we learn that from?
White man.
What, through the Christian church, which is his religion. Give me another problem.
Child support.
Child support. Whose hell idea is that?
Right.
White man.
Okay.
Why is there child support when a woman has the right to murder the baby if she wants to?
Right.
But if she decides to keep it, you have to pay. If she says you the daddy, it's ridiculous.
Right.
He's the problem, not her.
Right.
He's the problem. She gonna get fixed once he's gone. You get the point? Without the serpent in the garden, Eve would not be beguiled.
Right.
You understand? She's Eve. She gonna do what she do. But that thing that talked to her, that man, he's the problem.
That's right.
You have to make your friends understand that. And our brothers and sisters in the world right now, you're gonna say something, bro?
Drug addiction.
Drug addiction. That's drug addiction comes straight from where? Who knows? Who knows the history of drug addiction?
Oppression, sir. And
we do it because we are oppressed.
Right, come.
But the heathens do it in the worship of their gods.
Right, come.
Modern day drug addiction comes from Greece and Rome.
Come, sir.
Because that's what they did to their soldiers when they came back.
Yep.
When Caesar and them came back from war, there was some time, what is it called? When they crossed the Rubicon. The soldiers would go to war. The color, you know America's colors, red, white, and blue? That's from Rome.
Right.
Yep.
The red was for the soldiers, the blue was for the
civil.
It was the civil, the white is the Senate, right? The soldiers, when they were coming back, had to change colors into the white or the blue. I believe it's the white.
Like neutral, yeah, the white, the neutral.
I think under Caesar, they came back and crossed the Rubicon and did not change colors. And there was a serious problem in Rome because the soldiers came back to take power.
Right.
The Romans realized that it's very dangerous to have a trained killer with the ability to organize and survive walking around. That's dangerous because he doesn't need much to eat. He knows how to camouflage. He knows how to kill people. He knows how to seize power. He knows how to organize people. Him walking around is dangerous. So we need to get him to be less dangerous.
Right.
And that's why they began destroying military veterans. America, the brothers and sisters sleeping under the bridges on grades today is not by coincidence, it's by design. It's absolutely by design. Because if they come back, white veterans, they also suffer under East military structure. But you ever heard of Blackwater?
Sir.
Blackwater is who? Bring it up.
Blackwater is a private security company who they engage in like clandestine operations overseas.
Yeah, speak simple and plain. I don't even know what the hell. Then you offended me.
It's a lot.
From DC.
They specialize in top secret operations.
You on it? A little bit more. Go ahead, Blackwater. Blackwater man right here.
Blackwater is a bunch of mercenaries, former veterans who liked their craft and they got paid to go back over there and cause some ruckus.
It was, I forget the guy's name. Is a one devil who started it. He was a former SEAL, I believe, Navy SEAL or Marine. He was highly decorated, but he was Republican conservative. He decided to form a company called Blackwater, and he would hire ex-SEALs and Marines, and the government would contract those men to be bodyguards and mercenaries. Mercenaries is a paid assassin for all the overseas stuff.
Right.
So without sending in, the US military or the Navy SEALs, you could send them niggas, and it's not an official government operation, but it's America killing your men.
Right.
So that's an example of how dangerous it is to have military men trained just walking around.
Right.
Right. Now imagine you have your men coming back in, and they're from the people who are oppressed. It's going to be a problem.
That's right.
You understand? So that problem of drug addiction, or the problem of veteran homelessness and veterans affairs and veteran medical care being an issue. It's not coincidence. It's by design. You need those men weak. If those men are not weak, Blackwater might take over the White House and it might be niggas. You get the point? Every single issue you have, every problem you have in America is the white man. Right. Every single one. Go ahead.
Hey, Salagi, too, if I may, like you made a heavy point, absolutely point when you said like describing like they can camouflage, they can do this, describing just how the scriptures say they are cunning hunter, which means we got to be better fishers to get them so they ain't got nothing to hunt. You know what I mean?
That's it. Okay, you can't be the prey.
That's right.
Out here. And if you're not in the UPK, you are prey.
Right.
That's right.
You are going to be a victim, and it's sad to say, but that's the reality. If you're not in the ISUPK, if you don't have the leadership from the man who the Lord chose to lead this nation, which is Commander General YAHANNA.
That's right.
And I say that without any doubt in my mind, and this is not clout. I'm telling you straight up.
Right.
Without that leadership, brother, you're a victim out here. And the white man is preying on black people right now.
Right.
He's literally hunting and preying on black people.
Yep.
Physically, financially, spiritually, at every level.
Right.
We are his victims right now. Blacks and Hispanics. Get the point? So tell your friend, next time he thinks about hating, ask him how he feel about white people. Just ask him that. Ask anybody who likes to complain about black people, which is why we're going into that bitch Candace Owens tonight.
Right.
All right. Ask anybody who complains about black people since we so bad. How do you feel about white people? You get the point? How do you feel about that? In fact, let's get that first. Then we'll go to what's the other one? The good cup, bad cup. We'll do that last. All right. Give me pull up what she said. I'm gonna need that played.
The video.
Yeah, the video.
Okay, so like I had to tweet.
You could pull somebody on your computer here.
Let me see if I can get it.
Might be loud enough. All right. Candace Owens. I want to believe she's a media personality. Supposed to be a Republican, married to some devil. And she speaks a whole lot on behalf of white people. Right? And she recently said, what?
I got it, sir. She said, she got one. She said, I do not support George Floyd.
That's the one I want.
Right?
I think it's about, what, 9 minutes?
This one is 18. There might be some extra in here.
Okay, there's a few parts in there. I want the beginning. Where she says, I don't support George Floyd because he's a martyr or some bullshit like that. The part where she talk about, I think she said how many black men died from police violence last year, but then said black men are the majority of violent criminals. Right. All right, I'm gonna let you know when. All right.
Come on, sir.
And then what she said in the end, she said some bullshit to me.
Lucky, if I may, the tweet that I had that she pulled up, I don't think was in that video, but Lord knows it's something just
what she said.
Wow, kind of the word kind. The tweet says this is from her actual page. I'm always confused by why people say things like, "Don't you see yourself in George Floyd?" She says, "No, why? Do all white people see themselves in Ted Bundy? Do all Chinese people see themselves in Mao Zedong? If you expect me to relate to people based on skin tone, you're an idiot." And on that, she got 18.5 retweets and 65,000 likes.
Yeah, because what she's speaking for white people.
Exactly.
She is, anti-mama.
Right.
She is, she's that house slave that does not want to go to the field ever. You understand? And in exchange for that, she will advocate for our oppressor against the entire nation.
Right.
You understand? She says, the other part she says is police brutality. She said police brutality adversely affecting black men is a myth. It's in that same video. All right. So let's go with that one first.
Hello, Facebook family. I have decided to do this video. It has been weighing very heavily on my heart and on my mind as well. And it was something that I wanted to say early on, but there were so many emotions and so much pressure for me to go with a popular opinion about who George Floyd was. And sometimes it can be difficult when there are just so many external pressures to say what you believe. And this was an instance where I felt like my silence would have been better in the beginning, but the more that I think about it, I realize that we are being sold a lot of lies, and at the detriment to the Black community, at the detriment to the white community, and at the detriment to America as a whole. So I want to come out and say that I do not support George Floyd and the media depiction of him as a martyr for Black America. I'm going to explain why, and I hope that some of you guys will understand where I'm coming from.
Was it right?
I have.
Look, I should just found one twice. What does she mean? One more. That's the one. What does she mean when she say, "I don't support George Floyd being a martyr for Black America"? What does she mean by that?
So she's saying basically he didn't die for me. Like his death doesn't represent the oppression. Basically, she's trying to say in a roundabout way, the police brutality doesn't exist, oppression of Black people doesn't exist, and it is,
you on it, but okay, this is she is still on it.
Right.
What's up? Right, you on it.
Right.
All right. This is where. Give me Psalms 55.
Oh God.
Give me Psalms 55 quick. All right. In order to survive in white America, if you're a Black person, you're gonna have to learn to speak snake.
Yeah, Kawaka, sir.
You can't speak snake. You don't.
Kawaka, sir.
You have to learn to speak like white people.
Kawaka.
And white people speak in a way you think they're saying one thing,
Kawaka.
and they're saying something else.
Kawaka.
But other white people know exactly what they're saying.
Kawaka, sir.
You get the point?
Kawaka.
She said, I don't believe George Floyd was a martyr for Black people.
Right.
You need to look up what martyr is.
Kawaka.
Look up the word martyr, right? Appreciate that. So what? Go ahead.
Kawaka. Definition of martyr: a person who is killed because of their religious beliefs or other beliefs. A person who displays or exaggerates their discomfort or distress in order to obtain sympathy or admiration.
Anything else? What are you looking at? Who's that?
It's
Webster?
is the Google dictionary.
Somebody give me a dictionary definition of martyr.
Salaki. You got it.
M-A-R-T-Y-R, right?
Kawaka.
No, sir. Anybody? Whoever. Go ahead down with that.
A person, it says a person who is killed or who suffers greatly for a religious cause.
You looking at Google still. I need a dictionary.
This from the Merriam-Webster site. It says a person who sacrifices something of great value.
No, that's you read it from the top. Why are you skipping?
Okay, Kawaka.
Salakia, read what you see.
Okay, Kawaka. A person who voluntarily suffers. Who voluntarily.
Who what?
Who voluntarily suffers death as the penalty of witnessing to and refusing to renounce a religion.
That's the first definition of martyr.
Right.
A person who voluntarily suffers death as a penalty of witnessing to or refusing to renounce a religion.
Right.
Yahushua would be a martyr.
Right.
He voluntarily did it. George Floyd did not want to die, dummy. You dumb bitch.
Right.
He didn't volunteer to, hey, nigga, yeah, put it right here.
Right.
Right in the back here.
Right.
To the left.
Right.
He didn't say that, you dumbass.
Right.
He didn't voluntarily try to die. But you saying he's a martyr.
Right.
You understand?
Kawaka.
Keep reading.
Kawaka. Definition number 2. A person who sacrifices something of great value, and especially life itself, for the sake of.
Did he want to die?
No.
Did he sacrifice himself on the basis of principle?
Nah, lie, sir.
Obviously not. His woman was white. You think
Right.
he's giving up his life for the betterment of us?
Right, God.
No, this is not a disrespect to him.
Right,
I'm
God.
not on him today. He in the world.
Right,
That's the choice he made. He's still my brother.
right.
But this bitch here is dumber.
Yeah, God.
You understand?
God.
Play that last part again. She said, I don't
God.
believe he's a martyr for the black, which is some dumb shit.
God.
Nobody's saying he
There's
is.
just so many
God.
external pressures to say what you believe in. This was an instance where I felt like my silence would have been better in the beginning, but the more that I think about it, I realize that we are being sold a lot of lies, and at the detriment to the Black community, at the detriment to the white community, and at the detriment to America as a whole. So I want to come out and say that I do not support George Floyd and the media depiction of him as a martyr for Black America. I'm going to explain why, and I hope that some of you guys will understand where I'm coming from. I have spent a considerable amount of time reading a lot of Black authors that I think are some of the most brilliant Black Americans breathing. Walter Williams, Shelby Steele, Thomas Sowell, and
Stop writing.
I recently came across.
What does that have to do with anything?
So she's speaking to devils. Like it's like she's giving the backdrop for like her credibility in a sense.
She's trying to make herself sound like
She's for the cause.
she's educated.
Yeah, couple sir.
So she said she spent a considerable amount of time researching Black authors.
Right.
She didn't say what they were authors of.
Right.
She didn't say what they wrote. She didn't say what her research is.
Right.
If you're stupid, you're gonna think she's researched police brutality.
Right.
This bitch hasn't researched nothing. She don't know what the fuck martyr means.
Right.
You understand?
Couple.
Keep going.
Something that was an idea that was planted into my head by Shelby Steele, and it's been something that I cannot forget. It is something that will stick with me for the rest of my life, and it is something that I hope for the Black Americans that are watching will stick with you for the rest of your life. Shelby Steele said that the Black community is unique from other communities. Our culture is unique from other communities because we are the only community that caters to the bottom denominator of our society. Now let me explain.
Stop right there. Stop right. She said she read some damn faggot somewhere saying that Black people are, as a culture, we're the only community that caters to the bottom denominator of our community, right?
Right.
Now she's going to go on to give that definition of what she understands that to be. And what I didn't read the book she was referring to, so I don't know what the hell that author says. But I know Black people.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna explain what our cultural practice is.
Right.
But she's about to take it and bastardize us.
Sir.
Keep going.
To say that not every Black American is a criminal, not every Black American is committing crimes, but we are unique in that we are the only people that fight and scream and demand support and justice for the people in our community that are up to no good. You would be hard pressed to find, a Jewish person who has spent 5 stints in prison, who commits a crime.
Right, stop right there. Right Jewish on the one. I want to get every single one. Right Jewish. Go ahead.
And that the Jewish people champion and demand justice for. You will be hard pressed to find this in white America. You'll be hard pressed to find this even
in white America. Go ahead.
Latino America. There is a person.
Latino America, because this dummy don't know, Hispanics are niggas. Right. We forget Hispanics. All right. Replace Hispanics with Italians.
Right.
All right. Go ahead.
You are not going to see a bunch of Latinos coming out demanding justice for this person, even if, and I want to be very clear, what I'm saying is not any defense for Derek Chauvin. I hope Derek Chauvin gets the justice that he deserves to be, implements the content, and that the family of George Floyd deserves justice for the way that he died. But I also am not going to accept the narrative that this is the best the Black community has to offer. For whatever reason, it has become fashionable over the last.
Bitch, nobody says that. Nobody said that. A brother died suffocating on the devil's knee for 9 minutes.
Right.
And we want justice for it.
Right.
Now she says, as a culture based on this book, Black people have a unique culture of catering to the bottom denominator, which means we always support the criminal.
Right.
That's a lie.
Right. Come on.
Black people are compassionate. It means we look after the less fortunate
Come on, sir.
of our community.
Come on.
We have a heart. We feel sorry for the poor, the broken, the handicapped, the person who don't have certain things. We are the only people. Black people. Let me give you a perfect example of it. Anybody here have grandparents? How many grandparents? How many of y'all put your grandparents in a home? White people have grandparents. Where they at?
In nursing homes.
In nursing homes. African cleaning their ass. Come in only twice a year for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and never again. We will never put our grandparents in a home.
Right.
We will convert a room in the house for them.
Right.
And let them die in the house. And change our whole life schedule for them because we cater to the lowest denominator of our people.
Right.
White people do not do that. She took that act of kindness that we have, that's in the Bible, and says we cater to criminals.
Right.
Give me Psalm 55. So like I'm telling you, I can't zone just better never come to DC with a camp, brother. I'm going to lose every ounce of discipline. This type of bitch here, brother, needs to be silenced.
God.
Silence. I would recommend euthanize. I call it they tie them pets down and get them an injection. That's what the hell she needs. She needs to just shut her goddamn mouth. And I don't know who the hell gave her a platform. She probably doing all sorts of,
Yep,
Who has Psalm 55 for me? Go ahead.
Psalm 55 and 1.
Well, 20?
21, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Give me I think it starts at 20, right? Come on.
All right, Psalms 55 and verse 20. He have put forth his hands.
No, give me 21. You're right, bro.
Okay. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. But war was in his heart.
Right? The white man, this oppressor, when he speaks smooth words.
Right.
Smooth. You know, she talk real eloquent, and then she called people's name. Shelby Steele in this book and that book, and he's a martyr. Right. And listen, and they have a way they talk. Right. Yes, and that's not a nigger voice. That's the white man voice. Right. Yes, that she's speaking smooth words. And if you don't be careful, you will think, she is kind of right. You would think that. You would think, yeah, they always do that to us. They may get us riled up in a racial tension, but we do kill each other. We shouldn't be mad at that white cop because what your friend said? I can't love black people because they killed my cousin, right? That's, if you're not careful listening to her speak, you are going to accept what she says as true. This bitch is lying from the first second. She's lying.
Right.
You understand? She said among the Jewish community, they would never celebrate a criminal among them. Brother, have you ever, somebody pull up Murder Inc. right now, please. That's what you use Google for, Bakwashia. Not for the definition of words. You understand? You get a dictionary for that. You look up Murder Inc. on Google, all right?
Murder Inc. was an organized crime group.
Was what?
Was an organized crime group.
Get that straight. Go ahead.
In the 1930s and 40s, that acted as
in 1930s, where they're talking like, look, Shane, and it's a copper, step on it. That's how they're talking, right? Go ahead.
That acted as the enforcement arm of the Italian American mafia, Jewish mob.
Hold on, too quick. There was an organized crime group that acted as the muscle for the Italian mafia. What were they?
The enforcement arm of the Italian American mafia, Jewish mob, and connected organized crime groups in New York City and elsewhere.
There was a Jewish mob. How many of y'all, when you hear Murder Inc., who you think about today? Ja Rule, right? No. Murder Inc. was a Jewish mob.
Right.
It was an organization of criminals, Candace Owens.
Right.
with ties to where?
It's like,
New York.
yep,
Who runs New York? Huh?
Jews.
Anybody know? The so-called Jewish man
Right.
runs New York. How do you think they get in charge of New York? You think they work hard?
Nah.
Huh? You think what? They mop floors and came home and did class night school like brothers and sisters go do? How do you think they get to run New York, Candace Owens?
Right.
They were criminals.
Right.
They were organization of what was Italian bodyguards.
Yep, the enforcement arm of the Italian American mafia.
The enforcement arm of the Italian American mafia.
Right.
Now you still want to turn around and blame black people and say we criminals.
Right.
Their entire organization of a mafia that murdered, I mean, thousands of people are.
Right.
Thousands of people. You get the point?
Yeah.
Put themselves in power in New York to get millions of dollars and have political clout.
Right.
But she says we're the problem. Who's the other race she said up there after Jews?
White.
Huh?
White American.
White Americans. Who are the faces on Mount Rushmore?
Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, George Washington, and Jefferson.
Who are they?
American presidents.
Pick one. Anyone.
Roosevelt.
Oh, Washington. George Washington.
Give me Washington.
Give
Give me Washington. Look up how many slaves George Washington had. Somebody else pull up. What's his nigga name? Andrew
Jackson.
No, not Jackson.
We was on that one, sir. Select.
Swat, if I could.
Mm-hmm.
The person who designed the Mount Rushmore was also in the KKK.
And what is the real history of Mount Rushmore?
They killed so many Native American brothers they stole that land from the Native Americans to even get it from the South Dakota Sioux. And when they got that land, the cat who built it, he was in the KKK. He had mafia ties. He was into crime and everything. Everything around it was corruption.
Okay, there's something that's leaving out. I believe them faces was Native Indians before. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they had that whole idea comes from the Native Indian people. Putting the faces in the mountains. It comes from them. Either they took that same mountain and carved it over, or they destroyed the one that had the Native Indian chiefs on, and then put their faces there.
Mm-hmm.
Now this go ahead.
George Washington had 317 slaves.
Good
Yeah,
night.
317 slaves, his personal slaves. They didn't say how much he sold, right?
Right.
Okay.
Sorry if I may, sir.
Go ahead.
Thomas Jefferson, whose face is also up there, he is well known for raping so many
That's what I was going to next.
black women that even in Virginia today, you have so-called people that look like us. They, of course, Edomites, but you have so many people in Virginia that can claim their heritage. They're like, yeah, Thomas Jefferson is my great such
because of all the rape that
rape
he did. Because he loved some Candace Owens.
Exactly.
That's the kind of tale he would like if he was around today.
Right.
Look up Edward Colston. Edward Colston from Go ahead, bro.
Now I was gonna say a complete sidebar, but just on the Thomas Jefferson thing, it's not depend on the context, but it's crazy. Like when you were in the elementary school, your children, when they learn about the history and they going, you know what I'm saying, learn about the history, and then in middle school, high school, like you never hear about this.
No.
Like you hear about everything of what it is, he did this, Thomas Jefferson did this, but you never hear it, and it's crazy. Like, and even to today,
he's a rapist, right?
Never, Salagia,
No,
never.
Think about it. Think about without America being so racist, you would never know. Let me guess something. Ahmaud Arbery got shot.
Yep.
They pulled up a tape where a cop tried to tase him.
Okay.
That's how they are. They make sure they tell us all the things that could be disparaging about us.
Right.
That could dehumanize the victim, so it makes it easier to swallow the murder. Once again, you run over a dog in the street, you're not losing sleep over it.
Right.
But you kill a person, you're going to lose sleep over it. You get the point?
Right.
Who have Edward Colston?
I got him, sir.
Come on.
Edward Colston, was an English merchant and Tory member of Parliament.
Right? Tory is a party. It's really a group of powerful, rich white people in the English government. This was in what 17th century or 18th century, something like that.
18th century.
18th century. Go ahead.
Considered a philanthropist due to his contributions to charitable causes.
Right? He was a philanthropist.
Right.
He donated a ton of money to so-called charitable causes. Right? Go ahead.
Mainly in his native city of Bristol.
Right? He was from a city called Bristol in UK. All right, go ahead.
He is also
it's close to the coast. Go ahead.
He is also a controversial figure due to his involvement in the Atlantic slave trade.
This cracker here was a major slave trader. Does it tell you how much slaves he traded in his company? He had a company.
It says
right here, tens of thousands of Africans across the Atlantic.
It says tens of thousands, but there's a specific number.
So like it don't say the number here, but it says he had a monopoly on the English trade in African slaves.
He was the main one,
right,
for UK in slave trade. Give me the number.
84,000.
Oh boy, say it again.
84,000.
In his company's lifetime, he has on record, just like you would sell this or phones. Imagine, you know what, Metro PCS selling 84,000 phones. I don't know how much is a big number for them.
Right.
But you selling 84,000 people on record for the life of your company.
Right.
But he's celebrated as a philanthropist.
Yep,
where is he getting all that money to donate? From selling our foreparents, you dumb bitch Candace Owens.
Right.
You get the point?
Right.
But they don't talk about that though.
Okay.
They don't talk about his evil.
Right.
You get the point? They don't talk about none of that.
Right.
Right? But she says we have a culture of catering to the bottom denominator, otherwise known as supporting criminals.
Right.
Bitch. England supported this dude. They built a statue of him.
Yeah, come.
They put the faces of rapists and thieves and murderers on Mount Rushmore.
Right.
The Italian mafia and the Jewish mafia run New York, run America today.
Yep, come.
And you celebrate them.
Right.
What the hell is she talking about? That's our culture. Right. Is she dumb?
Come.
You have to be very careful when you listen to people, and be very careful and listen to what they say.
Right.
This broad here, she is really a spokesperson for white people. I don't believe she actually sits and thinks like this because she's a dummy. Because if she actually sits and thinks, you would know the meaning of martyr.
Right.
A martyr, what's another word for martyr? A hero.
A hero, come.
A hero will give his life for it.
Right.
You get the point? Or her life. You get the point? If she gonna say George Floyd is being painted as a hero, bitch, you didn't go to school. You simple. She is put in a room and they tell her what to say.
Right.
Because white people in this climate cannot come out and say what they want to say because of the cancel culture.
Right.
Right? You get some white man who have businesses come out and say something like that, they're gonna boycott his shit.
Right.
Candace Owens is a black woman, supposed to be educated. She can now come and do what? Say the things white people want to hear.
Right.
She can now come out and speak freely about the white conversations. Go ahead, sis. She can come out and speak freely the things they say in the white conversations. And white people hear it, and they say yes. We agree. Go ahead.
Like it, sir. I'm reading the comments on YouTube. You got devils on here saying Candace Owens makes me want to be, that's what we think about being a conservative. If she ran for office, I will vote for her. I love free thinking Americans. She's an American. And white people are the main ones big up in this world.
Tell me the name of the person who said I love free thinking Americans.
Come on, sir.
Just tell me.
Come on. The name of the person who said free thinking Americans 69 dildozer.
What? Oh my goodness gracious, so lucky. What?
That's a devil.
I'm not gonna call his name. But you dumb,
what?
You know, you LGBTQ devil. You say you love free thinking Americans. Do you love my point of view?
Right.
Because last I checked, this was a free thinking thing. I'm free to think Candace Owens is a dummy, right? Right or wrong?
Time to come.
Right? If you're free to love an idiot, I'm free to call the idiot idiot.
Right.
She's an idiot.
Right.
Now, you said, he said, what? If she runs for office, he'll vote her for the leader. Now you see how Trump gets in there.
Right.
From dummies like that.
Hey, Kawaka, sir.
You get the point?
Kawaka.
You have to, now all this, brother, you make sure you go back and tell your friend out there. You make sure you go and put this in his head. You understand? Next time he decides to, I love black people, man. They killed my cousin. All right, nigga.
Right.
No problem. No problem.
Right.
You get the point?
Kawaka.
Make sure you get that. Where we at with, what's the next group?
Italians.
Good.
Good night.
Go ahead.
If I may, sir, in Chicago, Al Capone, what we know today as brothers doing drive-bys, that whole culture of that comes from Al Capone shooting up Chicago in the Italian mafia with them Tommy guns.
Exactly. And that was the time with that same murder Inc.
Yep,
Right. I think what's the Jewish one name? Maya Lansky. I think he was a damn long-nosed rat bastard. Maya Lansky, Nucky Luciano.
Yeah, come on.
Go ahead.
It's like it. When I was slaving at the State Department, it was this guy who's very high up in the State Department right now. His job was he was in charge of the security at the embassies and consulates.
Mm-hmm.
He was brought up on charges for conspiracy of laundering money and whatnot to the Jewish mafia. He was Jewish. They spent 12 years trying to convict him. They couldn't convict him. His wife, they tried to get his wife to flip on him.
Right.
They were having some issues. She was about to divorce him, and they were about to close the case. She wound up dead. He gets promoted.
That's Murder Inc.
Exactly.
That's Murder Incorporated.
Exactly.
Everybody knows
what happened.
He got promoted.
Yeah.
The charges were dropped because their star witness died.
Everybody knows what happened. Everybody, it's not, it ain't rocket science. Everybody knows what happened. You know what I mean? Send Jimmy 2 times to see the
right.
Don't send Jimmy 2 times to see them. Hey, Paulie, go see the boy.
Right.
Yeah, send her on a vacation, a long vacation.
Right.
He's in charge of training the other security to go out to be the head of security.
Yeah, that's security.
Yeah.
That ain't securing nothing. You get the point? They're about something else. Right? That's the Italians. You get the point? And you're absolutely right. Now, America embraces that part of them.
Yep.
They make movies.
Yep.
They say this brother George Floyd, they're trying to state him so much. They say he was a porn star.
Yep.
Brother, Sylvester Stallone started in pornography. There's a statue of that nigga in Philadelphia. What the hell is Candace Owens talking about? That's not our culture to embrace criminals. That's who she's defending. That's white people's culture to embrace criminals.
Right.
Christopher Columbus, god damn it, nigga. Brother, she's an idiot. She's an immense idiot. Keep going.
Sir.
Right, well, you have quotes at 84,000 slaves. That's one dude.
Right.
Now think about how many, just think about selling 84,000 people.
Right.
Just think about it for a second. The average football team has how many people? 53. How many years before the team changes on average?
About four years.
So every 4 years, you could say there's a new group of 53?
No. About like 10 years.
In 10 years, there may be a new group of 53.
A whole new group of 53.
So in 10 years, how many people come through that football team? On average, if it's 53. Okay, let's say each year it's 53 people.
Right.
In 10 years, it's 530 people.
Right.
What's the average lifetime of a man? What, 70? 670? Let's say you start a company at 20 and you retire at 60. That's 40 years, right? 40 by 530 is how much? Do the math quick.
21,200.
He sold 84,000 people in the span of his company.
Right.
You get it, boy? Put that in perspective for you.
Right.
There's some stadiums that is 80,000 people.
Yeah, sir.
he sold that amount. There's a statue of him.
Right.
What is Candace Owens talking about? We have a culture of celebrating criminals. Does she not know how America was formed?
Right. Come.
You have a criminal in the White House right now.
Right.
Right now. What is she talking about?
Come.
Any more on this broad here? Please help me.
Come, sir.
5 or 6 years for us to turn criminals into heroes overnight. And it is something that I find to be despicable, and it's something that I refuse to stand by any longer, and I'm not going to play a part in it, no matter how much pressure comes from Black liberals and Black conservatives as some token of people wanting you to believe that this is the only way you can be Black, is you have to say this was wrong, and that this, this person was amazing. I won't do that. George Floyd was not an amazing person, and as soon as this video hit the internet, I did just basic searches. Everyone jumped on it and was looking at the police officer, and everyone agrees that the police officer was wrong, and the police officer has been arrested. So that is not the reason I'm not discussing that, is that is not something that has been misconstrued in the media. He has been turned into the devil that he is, and there is no reason for us to harp on that any longer, because white Americans are not uplifting Derek Chauvin as a victim or pretending that he's an amazing human being.
Stop writing.
But George Floyd.
Stop. White America is not uplifting him.
Right.
Isn't there a George Floyd challenge?
Come, sir.
What the fuck is that?
Come.
What is she talking about? Ain't they doing a challenge right now with kneeling down on white people?
No sweat.
White people kneeling down on other white people's neck.
Right.
Talking about the George Floyd challenge. Didn't they do the Trayvon Martin challenge?
Come.
Didn't they help George Zimmerman? How much money they gave this nigga? While he was locked up, I think his GoFundMe was ridiculous.
Yeah, come, sir.
The FOP took up donations for him. What is she talking about? White America is not celebrating him.
Right.
Of course they are. I can breathe just fine. I don't give a F about your breath. You remember that?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What is the hell she talking about? Do I need to tell her back on?
No, it's the wife, sir.
Keep going.
Come.
Uplifted as an amazing human being. For those of you who have not yet seen
that 69 power toy. She's married to one of them.
Yeah,
that could be her damn faggot husband on there right now.
Come, sir.
She's married to some devil.
Right.
Brother, I don't understand how she sits in a room with these people and goes home every night.
Right.
She hates Black people.
Come.
With a passion you would not understand.
Come, sir.
This is the issue. Al Sharpton also hates Black people.
Come, sir.
Jesse Jackson the same way.
Right.
Farrakhan the same way. Our leaders are her
Right.
in blackface. This
Right.
makes sense.
Come.
She is really like white. Our leaders are her on the other side.
Right.
Right? Keep going.
Come.
and did not pursue or wait for more clips to come out. First and foremost, George Floyd at the time of his arrest was high on fentanyl, and he was high on methamphetamine. This came back in both of his autopsy reports. If you pursue the 911 transcript,
how he died? Did he die from an overdose?
Nah,
Dummy?
lie.
Did he die from an overdose?
Lie, sir.
He could have been high on gasoline. I don't give a damn. He would have been alive and high.
Right.
He died because of white supremacy.
Right.
Something she is defending.
Right.
Keep going.
Who was out of their mind high, and which is what made the person fearful, because he tried to use a bill that I guess was a fake bill to purchase something, and then he was outside acting weird, and they in their police call said this person with.
You hear how she's lying? Huh?
Come sir. Come on. So like if I may, this broad here has drunk the white supremacy Kool-Aid to the max. Like this is, I recall situations when Trayvon Martin was murdered, and that was in the world. And I remember sitting and listening to my manager. She was a devil, and we called her mom. I'm thinking like, she cool, she loved black people. And I remember sitting in the room and listening to her and the other white manager talk about Trayvon Martin, and it really opened my eyes. Like she sounds just like how those devils were saying. It's like, well, Trayvon Martin was this, and I'm sitting there like, damn. I thought, you love niggas, and this is how you really feel.
Love niggas who make you money.
Yeah, come.
What she's doing, white people call, they have a phrase for it. dog whistle.
Oh, yeah, come on.
Come on.
So like, I'm just reading the autopsy report, and it says that he had the fentanyl and the methamphetamines in the system.
Hold on.
Was not
hold on. Wait. Hold on. I was trying to get there. Go ahead, Pasquale. Go ahead.
But it was not listed as the cause.
Okay, that's not even okay. That's not what she's saying. She's trying to say he was high with the fentanyl and all that kind of stuff. Look up what is fentanyl.
It's like a manufactured heroin.
What is it used for?
Pain
relief.
That's what they say, huh?
Right?
Yeah.
Come on.
Animal tranquilizer.
That's what it's used for too?
I heard, that's what I heard.
Okay,
Enough of it.
Enough of it.
Yeah, come on, sir.
Did you hear how this brother was just recovering from COVID?
Yep, come on.
COVID victims are in immense what?
Pain.
So maybe he just was in pain.
Right.
He came out of the car saying, I'm in pain.
Right, come on.
He was high on fentanyl. Now you're trying to paint him as this drugged out animal who is acting so strange, but he paid for whatever he bought them. He didn't walk out the store.
Right,
he paid for it. With a $20 bill that turned out to be accurate.
Right.
That there was nothing wrong with it.
Right.
But this is what she's saying. Give me some more. Come on.
It's like, and even though he may have had something in the system, it doesn't mean he was actually high on it. It could have been he just had it from 3 weeks ago.
Listen, she's a snake.
Yeah,
she's a snake and is a white man's bed wrench.
Right.
Right. Go ahead.
Oh God.
Obviously distorted on drugs. When he is put into handcuffs and is put against the wall, a baggie of what looks to be like cocaine or it's white. It's a white baggie that he drops onto the floor that you can see in an image. If you look up the clip, the media is refusing to circulate it. You can find it on Twitter if you
about the cocaine.
Stop right. And look up George.
Which nigga you know does cocaine? Just point him out to me, quick. Niggas do what? Crack.
Shit.
But she know cocaine though.
God.
She know what cocaine looks like though. This bitch here with white people.
God.
You get the point?
God.
Something fall onto the floor and looks like cocaine. Go ahead.
You can watch the clip yourself with your own eyes. He had drugs.
Bitch, I can't watch it with your eyes. I'm about to watch it with my own eyes, you dummy. Go ahead.
Now, barring all of that, nobody thinks that he should die during this arrest. But what I find despicable to be is that everyone is pretending that this man lived a heroic lifestyle when he didn't.
Stop right there. Nobody's pretending that.
Exactly. Come on.
But what does all of that have to do with the murder that happened?
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
It has nothing to do with it.
Come on.
She is doing what white America. She's saying things necessary to make white America feel comfortable.
Come on, sir. Yep.
That what they're thinking is being brought out in the media because white America is feeling threatened now.
Right.
That's why they want their country back, make America great again. They want, more. That's why they hated that little faggot, little Nas X, for the country music, because they want their own thing for themselves, and they don't want black people into it. And now they find so much of America's pastime, America's news, America's entertainment is so brown, they can't stand it.
Right.
So they need people like her. They need people like there's another one who was trying to come up in Iran, but he couldn't be a coon for so long. His name was Kevin Martin. Little old coon from Philadelphia. He was hanging on Trump coattail like boy. And he couldn't handle it for too long. He left eventually. But they need to hear this to feel like, damn, somebody gets it.
Right.
Finally, somebody gets it. Right? Keep going.
What his lifestyle was leading up to this moment and why I refuse to accept the narrative that this person is a martyr or should be lifted up in the black community and that we should be buying t-shirts with his name on it, okay? So here we have first and foremost.
But we buy t-shirts with George Washington's face on it. We spend money with George Washington's face on it and Benjamin and all of them.
Right.
You get the point?
Right.
You see how she's such a snake. She's such a hypocrite. This slut here, Candace Owens, is a white man's whore.
Yeah.
She's a white man's whore that, yes, daddy, and I'm gonna say this, daddy, and just pay me. You get the point? Just pay me. And the thing about it is, when white men are done with you, they're done with you.
Yep.
Ask Omarosa.
Come on.
Her day's gonna come. Just give it a little few years, maybe.
Come on.
A day's gonna come when she's gonna be in the trash and she'll have everything bad to say about white people.
Right.
Like the two sisters, Silk and Diamond.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're more pure because they for sure just in it for the money.
Yeah, come on.
She actually thinks she's gonna be accepted. Like Omarosa.
Right.
They actually think they're going to be loved.
Right.
And they're gonna get dumped on the side.
Yep, absolutely.
Them Silk and Diamond, when they get dumped, they're gonna be like, well, we got tape.
Yeah,
They ain't gonna sweat nothing out. They pimping. You get the point? Keep going.
From the bottom of his record. And by the way, I am not saying that if you have a record, you don't deserve a second chance. I think people get arrested, and some people can serve time in prison, and I believe in second chances, but I do draw the line when it comes to second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth chances. 1998, he spent 10 months in prison for
1998. How many years ago was that?
That's about 30 years.
Come on now.
God.
When the hell was she in how old is Candace Owens?
22 years. 22.
22 years. How old is Candace Owens? 35? Bitch was 12 when this happened.
Right.
What is she talking about?
God.
Keep going.
Come.
First prison stint that I could find on him. In 2002, he spent 8 months in prison for a cocaine offense. In 2004, just 2 years later, he spent another 10 months in prison for a cocaine offense. In 2005, he spent another 10 months in prison for having less than 1 gram of cocaine on him again. In 2007, and this was the biggest incident that I had that made me realize this was a horrible human being that I am not going to pretend was a good person. In 2005, a woman who was pregnant received a knock at the door, and she went to the door, and the person pretended to be someone that worked for the water department. So she opened her door and quickly realized that the person at her door did not work for the water department and attempted to slam it. At the moment that she was attempting to slam it, a Ford pulled up and another 5 men jumped out of the car, and one of which was George Floyd, came up to the door and they forced their way inside to her home, inside of her home. Mind you, this woman is pregnant. At that point, George Floyd took out a gun and pressed it to her stomach as she was screaming, begging for her life, and he put her inside of her living room and instructed one of his criminal friends that was with him to watch her and to make sure she didn't leave the living room. So he was playing guard while they ransacked her home looking for drugs and money. They did not find drugs. They ended up taking, I believe, her wallet and her cell phone. Fortunately for her, her neighbor observed what was going on and caught the license plate of the people as they pulled off and called 911. And when 911 was able to, they were.
Somebody look up Derek Chauvin.
Come.
Look up Derek Chauvin. Trying to think of another one. Who's another good one? Pantaleo. Look up Pantaleo, right? But look up Derek Chauvin first. All right, Officer Derek Chauvin. So you see how far she went back, right?
Yep, come.
And she got and this was the biggest instance. So she's really trying to find a reason for. At the end of this, what does she want us to say?
He deserved to die.
He deserved to die. He was scum anyway. He was trash.
Come.
Well, let's see Derek Chauvin. Who are we? Officer Derek Chauvin. All right, if you don't have it, I might have to go ahead.
Okay. He had 18 prior complaints against him. 18 prior complaints against him.
18 prior complaints against him for brutality. Now, black people don't complain.
Right.
This is in Minnesota.
Come.
To get black people to complain, you have to actually do something so egregious that black people are just like, nah, I'm complaining.
Yep, come.
So that 18 is more like 120.
Right.
Right, go ahead.
Before he knelt on Floyd's neck, Chauvin was the subject of 18 prior complaints filed against him with the Minneapolis Police Department's internal affairs.
Go ahead.
Police confirmed the complaints were filed but didn't detail why they were filed or what they entailed.
They didn't detail it. That's how you know his niggas complain.
Yeah, come, sir.
They didn't take the report. You understand?
Right,
But they just have in his jacket 18 people call his name.
right.
But what they call his name for? Who knows? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Says only 2 of the 18 complaints were closed with discipline.
Mm-hmm.
According to an MPD Internal Affairs public summary, in both cases, Chauvin received a letter of reprimand.
So he get disciplined twice in them 18 complaints, and one was a letter. Go ahead.
According to Communities Against Police Brutality, a Minnesota nonprofit that created a database of complaints against officers in the state, Chauvin received oral reprimands for using a demeaning tone, derogatory language, and other language that merited discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Neither the nonprofit database nor the Minneapolis Internal Affairs.
They have anything there about the shootings? He killed somebody before. I think he killed 3 people before.
God.
Right, yeah, I'll scroll down. He killed 3 people before. This brother here.
They say they both worked at security at a nightclub.
That's the other thing. I'm gonna get to that
okay,
in the end. They both knew each other. They didn't say nothing about the shootings. It's amazing you can't find that because they'll hide stuff when it comes to him. But when it comes to us being the victim, in 2000, in 1965, he did this. You get the point? That's how they do it. Candace Owens should be silenced now. She should be taken to a veterinary clinic and euthanized. You get the point? She speaks for white America.
Right.
And she hates black people, and you cannot afford to let yourself hate black people.
That's right.
I don't give a damn if black on black crime happens every goddamn day. You not allowed to touch us.
That's right.
You understand that?
That's right.
Black on black crime is our business. Tell me which nigga killing another nigga because he black.
Right.
But every cop kills us because we black.
Right.
It's different, dummy.
Come on.
It's a different thing. Yes, black on black crime happens. Mind your goddamn business.
Right.
You don't touch us.
That's right.
You never touch us. You get the point?
Come.
You should never touch us.
Right.
That's an act of war. Black on black crime is family business. If it's a family, it's called sibling rivalry.
Yep.
When brothers and sisters fight. When the neighbor kid punches your kids, now you go to the neighbor's door and be like, listen, you gotta control the kid, or I'm gonna run him over.
Right.
You gotta not control your kid.
Right.
And I'm telling you, and it turns into a back and forth. Get the hell out of my porch. Yeah, next time you ain't gonna see your child though.
Yeah, God.
Everybody understands that.
Come on.
But when it comes to us and this devil, it's not, no. That's not understood. Go ahead.
All right, it says the 44-year-old officer who is white is seen in the video kneeling on the neck of Floyd, 46-year-old black man who later died. Chauvin was charged Friday with third-degree murder and manslaughter as violent protests raged across the country. Police records and news accounts show that Chauvin had been involved in shootings and deaths, but also received the Police Department Medal of Valor in 2008 and was recognized again 2 years later. He has not spoken publicly since Floyd's death, and his attorney.
What is a Medal of Valor? It's for bravery.
Yeah, come on, sir.
They rewarded him for killing black people, which is what they always do. Which is it's an incentive. That's why they're so brutal against us.
Right.
They get props in the police department for doing it. I'm looking for an article about it. I think it's a whistleblower talk about they have a secret point system in the police department for being brutal, injuries, and killings. Good, and what they call good shoots for black people. It came out a few years ago. And I can't remember exactly what was the heading of the article. Right. If anybody could find it. But they have it like a boys' club. Like, you know how brothers, when you're teenage years, the man who has the most numbers on the damn napkin, he's the man at the end of the night.
Yep.
They have something like that for killing black people and Hispanics amongst themselves. Right? Which runs me right into good cop, bad cop. Making a statement. There are no good cops.
That's right.
They're none. They're none. Y'all had enough time to show us you were good. There was one time we would say, well, it's not all of y'all, right?
Right.
It's not all of y'all. This is not, even I said it. This is not a police problem. This is a white man's problem.
Right.
It's a police problem. It is a white man's problem. It's America.
Right.
There are no good cops. If there's a good cop, one of y'all call it. Y'all come on the line. Come on the line, let me ask you a question.
Right.
If they are good cops, How many bad cops have you arrested?
Right.
Huh?
Uh,
Ask every good cop. Do you know of any bad cops? Well, yeah, there are bad cops everywhere. How many of them have you arrested?
right.
Or none? Well, you're failing at your job. You are not a good cop.
That's right.
Because if you were a good cop, you would arrest every bad guy. Right? You would put a case on every person who's not obeying the law.
Right.
You know there's some who's not obeying the law, and you're doing nothing. You're not a good cop. You're all bad.
That's right.
Right? Stay on that side. Go on behind the blue wall of silence. Or else, snitch.
Right.
Make a statement, nigga. And that's what you tell us to do? Come on, make a statement, right?
Right.
Come on, man. You know they don't care about you in there. Come on, look at Ricky, man. Ricky ain't giving you no money.
Right.
Come on, tell him, man. You're going to get 2 years. But listen, officers, come and snitch.
Right.
Come sit right here and make a statement. Listen, if you're Christian, I'll do a confessional. I'll put it by here. Forgive me, Captain, because I have sinned. You damn cops, you come snitch. Tell what's going on. Go ahead.
It's like I said, if I may just
give me the rape scripture before you get before you say what you have to say. Somebody hold the rape scripture for me. And also hold Deuteronomy 21 and 10. Go ahead.
So like I said, if I may just come in that environment for a time, I've seen firsthand and experienced the corruption and what happens to officers who are against the corruption. Either they get pushed out or they continue to go and not say anything, and they end up just becoming a willing participant of it. It's two things can either happen. It's just the way it works. Like,
that's the truth. That's the truth. That's why in here, brother, you get raised with a certain amount of integrity,
right?
Where your reputation means more to you than anything. Your honor, your integrity, it means more to you than anything.
Right.
But to a snake, to a slime ball, to a coward who's in some police organization somewhere, watching things happen,
right,
and going home, you're filth.
Right.
You are filth at this point. You've had enough time to say something. Mm-hmm. You've had enough time to resign. Mm-hmm. Go work in the post office, nigga.
Yep.
Postmen ain't killing nobody. They don't even kill dogs. They ain't killing nobody.
Right.
Go deliver mail. Go work in McDonald's. But you're in there because you are just like those men.
Right.
You hate black people just like your white racist co-workers.
Okay.
Don't pretend like you're a good cop because you don't murder black people. You're watching it happen and doing nothing.
Right.
There are no good cops.
That's right.
You get the point? If you want good officers, come to the Israelite School at UPK.
That's right.
Our officers are better than yours.
That's right.
They have more integrity than yours. They're more reliable, and we are no cowards up in here.
That's right.
We are absolutely no cowards up in here. You're scared to talk about what's going on in the police force.
Right.
We're no cowards up in here.
Okay.
I'll tell you straight up and down. You understand? If Muriel Bowser want to clean up DC, come hire the UPK.
That's right.
You understand? Come hire the UPK. We're going to get this place straight, and there will be no crime. We wouldn't even have use for jails.
Right.
Because there'll be brothers on every corner speaking, the white man is the devil, the Bible.
That's right.
You get the point?
Okay.
Go ahead. Who have it from me?
The rape scripture?
Yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto a husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die.
Mm-hmm.
The damsel, because...
Hold on. So now, what does he say? Read it again from the top.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 23. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband,
mm-hmm.
and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die.
Right. If a man find a damsel that's betrothed and force her, and you find them, bring both of them and stone them. Now, some idiot would think, see, she get raped, she was forced, right? And why are you killing her? Some idiot would read that and say, the Bible is, what's the word? when you're against misogynistic,
Come on.
right? The Bible is misogynistic
Right.
because it kills women who
Right.
were raped,
Right.
and then they go to the one in Judges.
Yep.
When the sister was she was killed in the rape,
Right.
she made it back to the house and died on the front porch. But they don't see that. They see the Levite cutting her into pieces as the punishment for being raped.
Right.
That's not what this is saying. Keep reading.
Come. The damsel, because she cried not.
Say it again.
The damsel, because she cried not.
Why is that sister being stoned?
Because she cried not.
Why?
Because she cried not.
Go ahead.
Being in the city, and the man, because he had humbled his neighbor's wife. So,
The man go back because he's a rapist.
right.
He's a disgusting fact. A rapist is a homosexual.
That's right.
Why does the woman die? Who knows?
Is it because she didn't scream or something like that?
You have an obligation
That's right.
to say when something's wrong. The Bible says if you do not scream, if you just go with it,
Right.
you should die.
Right.
You should die. Go ahead.
So like I was gonna say right before you said it, like the more honorable thing to do is an unfortunate situation, of course, but it's the more honorable thing to do is go out and instead fighting against it than to just give up yourself.
It's an unfortunate situation because she didn't fight.
Right.
You understand?
Come.
This is not blaming the woman. This is letting you know what type of woman you should be.
That's right.
You should be a woman who is willing to die for the integrity of your body.
Come.
You have to be willing to die.
Right.
Being willing to die, to scream and run and fight and yell, it says you will not abide with something that's wrong.
Right.
No matter what the consequences are.
Come.
You will say something, nah, that shit wrong.
Right.
That's wrong. I'm not having it. No, that's wrong. Well, I'm gonna kill you. Well, then kill me then.
Right.
Problem. You're gonna rape a corpse. Let's go.
Right.
You fighting all the way. The scripture says the damsel gonna be stoned because she did not cry out. You have an obligation to cry out. You're supposed to say when something is wrong. If she's supposed to be stoned, what's gonna happen to them? They're gonna face the same death
Right.
them racist white devils face in uniform when Christ come back.
Right.
When Christ come back and he require their heads, all you cops who stay silent,
Yeah.
you're gonna answer to Yahushua.
Come.
And he coming back for blood. I'm
Come.
telling you straight up. He's coming back for blood. Give me the other one I asked for. Deuteronomy 21.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse 10. When thou goest forth to war against thine enemies,
Mhm.
and the Lord thy God hath delivered them unto thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have that thou wouldest have her to thy wife, then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall.
Not 10. Skip up to 1.
Kind of book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21.
Yeah. 21 Psalm 1. We going on with the murder, right? If a body be found in the city. Go ahead.
Verse 1. If one be found slain in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee to possess it, lying in the field.
Israelites, hold on. You see that I shouldn't even watch the chat anymore. Israelites are flatbush. We're not all the same.
I seen it here.
All right, we're not all the same, and I'm gonna help you out. All right, I'm gonna help you out, and after tonight, you're gonna decide which God you serve. All right, I'm gonna come to you as soon as we're done with this right here. All right, we are not all the same. There's no two things that does the same work ever.
Right.
In life, that doesn't happen. You have 2 feet wearing the same pair of shoes, yet the wear and tear on both of them is different. We're not the same. We're not the same. We're never going to be the same. The only how we can be the same is if we're in the same body.
That's right.
You get the point? That's what's make us the same. The same belief, the same mindset, follow the same leader. You get the point?
Right.
I'm gonna come back to it though. Go ahead.
If one be found slain in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee to possess it, lying in the field, and it be not known who has slain him, then the elders and thy judges shall come forth, and they shall measure unto the cities which are round about them that is slain.
Right, what's he saying there? Break it down. Young man. No sweat.
Verse 1, just to simplify, it's a body that's found. Ain't nobody around. It's forensics. It's about to go down. So then verse 2 is telling you, then thy elders and the judges. That's talking about the leaders, the ones who run the people, who pretty much the government.
Leaders of who?
The leaders of that city. The leaders of Israel. The leaders. Then the elders and the judges, so like, then thy elders and thy judges shall come forth, and they shall measure unto the cities which are round about them that is slain.
The leaders of the city that the body was found in.
Okay.
They're going to come and start checking the distance of each city from that city.
Right.
Why?
Because it's logically the person that murdered the person would be in the closest
In
city.
the closest city.
Right.
Because he just found the body here. The body wasn't here last night, it's here this morning.
Right.
It's only so far this nigga could get.
Okay.
You get the point?
Okay.
It's like if you find a body here, you're not going to search in California. You're not going to get that far.
Right.
From New York all the way down to maybe Carolina or Richmond.
Right.
All points, bulletin, roadblocks, we looking for him.
Right.
Because he could only get that far. They start measuring the distance of the cities. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And it shall be that the city which is next unto the slain man, even the elders of that city shall take in heifer, which have not been wrought with, and which have not drawn in the yoke.
Right. So the closest city to where the body is, not the one the body was found in, but the closest one in distance away, they are going to take a heifer, one who's not raw, meaning a female cow wasn't yet bred.
Right.
Go ahead. Or wasn't worked with the yoke, wasn't plowed in the field. Young cow that nobody ever made money from yet. Right, go ahead.
Verse 4. And the elders of that city shall bring down the heifer unto a rough valley, which is neither aired nor sown, and shall strike off the heifer's neck there in the valley.
Right, so they're gonna come down with that cow in a valley, in an open field that is just bare and open.
Right.
It's not taken care of. It's a rough valley.
Right.
It's not tended to every day. It's not farmed and looked after. And they're gonna cut the neck out off of the cow. Right. They're gonna kill the cow. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And the priests, the sons of Levi, shall come near. From them the Lord thy God hath chosen to minister unto him, and to bless in the name of the Lord. And by their word shall every controversy and every stroke be tried.
Right.
Verse 6. And all the elders of that city that are next unto the slain man shall wash their hands over the heifer that is beheaded in the valley.
Right. So they kill the heifer in the valley. And all the mayors, just think like if it's today, the mayors and the governors from the city and the states around, they all had to come down to DC,
right,
and they had to wash their hands over the dead cow. Right? What does that mean? What does that symbolize?
I don't know.
Just think, there's a dead body on the ground, and you're washing your hands over it. Don't think too spooky. Try.
Seeing if there's blood on your hands.
You want it, but if I wash my hands, what am I saying?
Clean your hands.
From
the murder.
Yeah, meaning what?
You killed.
No. If I say I wash my hands of this,
I had nothing to do with it.
I had nothing to do with this.
Right.
Each leader of that city has to come down there over the dead cow and wash their hands of it. In order to wash their hands over the dead cow, what do they first have to do?
Make sure that nobody in that city did it.
They have to make sure nobody in their city did the murder.
Right.
You understand? Then they could come and say, we good.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're a police officer and you're in a department somewhere, you have an obligation,
Right,
if you want me to look at you as a good cop,
right,
that there are no bad cops in your precinct.
okay,
Clean your house, nigga.
right,
Start. Even the Lord said, I will start at my sanctuary first.
okay.
How you a cop walking out a damn precinct to go arrest criminals, walking past criminals?
Right,
What's wrong with you?
right,
You stupid?
right,
You have an obligation to say something,
that's right,
to do something. That's what you're there for.
right,
Now they're talking about defunding you cops. Defund every last one there. Go on the bread line.
right,
Go get food stamps. I don't care. Go starve.
that's right.
Go starve. Go sell drugs. That's what you all do in any goddamn way.
Yep, God.
There's no good cops on the streets of America, period.
That's right.
The only good officers are in the Israelite school of universal and practical knowledge.
That's right.
We maintain the integrity in Most High in Christ.
Right.
There's checks and balances in here. You're not going to be allowed to come in here and run amok, beat and murder people, do whatever, and get medals of valor. What the hell is that?
Sir.
If you're a good cop, then start arresting bad cops.
Right.
It's that simple. Show us that you're good. Until that starts happening, there ain't no good cops nowhere. Go ahead.
So like I said, and on the flip side, police officers lump us all together because they look at if we don't snitch on the criminals in our community, then it's like, well, surely you all are criminals if you don't.
If you don't, that's the truth, man. If y'all don't talk, everybody go. Everybody get in the bag. Get in the bag. If nobody talking, then you all guilty. Listen, that's the rules in the house. Parents come home. Who break it? Everybody get beat. Until somebody talk.
Right.
Nobody beats in these cops.
Right.
Nobody. Nobody's jamming them.
Right.
They're no good cops. Right. If there were good cops, Derek Chauvin would not have a job.
That's right.
Pantaleo would not have a job. He would not be on the force to kill Eric Garner.
Right.
Good cops, the cops that say they're good cops and they don't do it, it's your fault. Trayvon Martin is dead.
Right.
It's your fault Michael Brown got shot. It's your fault Eric Garner is dead. It's your fault Terrence Crutcher is dead.
Right.
It's your fault Alton Sterling is dead. It's your fault Philando Castile is dead. It's your fault Tamir Rice. Because you go to work every day and get paid sitting next to this trigger-happy racist and you're not doing anything about it.
Right.
It's your fault.
That's right.
You can't call yourself a good cop.
Right.
Unless your idea of good is if your slave master says you're good. Now, if your slave master is your standard, then you're good. Because your slave master hates black people.
Right.
But until you start cleaning your own house, you're all filthy.
Right.
You're all disgusted. You get the point?
Okay.
Any more on the Deuteronomy?
You can read one more verse on it.
What verse reading?
Verse 7. Deuteronomy 21:7. And they shall answer and say, our hands have not shed this blood, neither have our eyes seen it.
Say it again.
Verse 7. And they shall answer and say, our hands have not shed this blood, neither have our eyes seen it.
Right? They're able to say that because they know they went through their city and looked for that murderer.
Right.
And he's not in there.
That's right.
Because they run their city where if you're harboring this murder, you're going to die.
Okay.
You understand? You are going to die. Israel is not the type of people where we're not like the police force, where there's a wall of bloom and the Fraternal Order Police, the FOP, that looks after criminals.
Right.
We're not like that, brother.
Right.
We're not like that. Give me the Babylonian garment.
Okay.
Give me the Babylonian garment, and after I'm coming to fake Israelites. I was trying to leave early tonight, but I realized you all want me to stay.
Joshua chapter 7, verse 21. When I saw among the spoils a goodly Babylonish garment, and 200 shekels of silver, and a wedge of gold of 50 shekels weight, then I coveted them and took them, and behold, they are hid in the earth.
Hold on. Skip up to (19).
Joshua chapter 7, verse 19. And Joshua said unto Achan, my son, give, I pray thee, glory to the Lord God of Israel, and make confession unto him, and tell me now what thou hast done. Hide it not from me.
So now, this was after a war, right?
Right.
This was after a war. Joshua was leading the army. Israel started losing.
Right.
Joshua knows if we're losing, something is wrong. Somebody's sinning.
That's right.
He decided to do an investigation.
Right.
And came up to Akan. And he said, listen, Akan, you're doing something off. Tell me what you're doing.
Right.
So we can stop our people from dying innocently.
Right.
That's what a good leader does. He checks to see what's the cause of death. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 20. And Achan answered Joshua and said, Indeed, I have sinned against the Lord God of Israel. And thus have I done.
Right, so I can't confess. You say, yeah, I did sin. I broke the laws of the Lord. Go ahead.
When I saw among the spoils a goodly Babylonish garment, and 200 shekels of silver, and a wedge of gold of 50 shekels weight, then I coveted them, and took them, and behold, they are hid in the earth, in the midst of my tent, and the silver under it.
So now, why was this wrong? I'm going to get you the history. They were supposed to fall on this Babylonian city and burn everything. This brother Achan, he probably end up in a tent somewhere, or some building, and see this Babylonian garment. Just think today, saw a Gucci suit, right? Gucci loafers, right? So what we gonna say? Versace. They see some old gay ass clothing and some money and some gold, and it's like, damn, I'm keeping this. The Lord wanted it all gone. He didn't want spoiled from that place. He wanted it burnt flat. Don't take nothing. Achan brought it back. The Lord was angry because the Lord is not one to play with that. If he says go left, nigga. You understand? He's a father. He's not a mother. It's different. The Lord started killing Israel by the hands of the nations. In war, we started losing war. So I can't confess because he's looking at what's going on. He know this is his fault. You get the point? He understands that. Some of you cops, you all need to confess, man. Come on over here and confess. I got some scotch for you. Pat you on the shoulder, you don't cry. No, brother. Come and confess, man. Help clean up your damn police force. They want respect for your damn profession. But you letting them run amok all over our heads. Do it before it's too late. A time is coming when the Lord is going to require it from you. And you're not going to be able to explain your way out of it. The Lord wants America bloodied and bruised and wounded. And then to be put into the grave. That day is coming. It's on its way. But you devils, you murderers, I understand why. You shouldn't do it. But you brothers in there that know what they're doing and ain't doing nothing about it. I ain't sure about you, man. I ain't sure about you. Go ahead.
Verse 22. So Joshua sent messengers, and they ran unto the tent, and behold, it was hid in his tent, and the silver under it.
Right, Joshua heard it. He said, go check the tent, see if you find the goods. And it wasn't there. Go ahead.
And they took them out of the midst of the tent, and brought them unto Joshua, and unto all the children of Israel, and laid them out before the Lord. And Joshua and all Israel with him took Achan, the son of Zerah, and the silver, and the garment, and the wedge of gold.
So now all Joshua messengers, all his men, they brought all the stuff that Achan took from that Babylonian city, and put them in front of all of Israel. All right, go ahead. And then they took all the gold, everything. Go ahead.
And his son.
And his what?
And his son.
He didn't steal his sons though. He stole the gold. But they took his sons. Go ahead.
And his daughters, and his oxen, and his asses,
go ahead,
and his sheep, and his tent, and all that he had. And they brought them unto the valley of Achor. And Joshua said, why hast thou troubled us? The Lord shall trouble thee this day.
He said, bro, that's a cold lie.
Sir.
He said, why have you troubled us? For a Gucci suit? For a garment? For a paycheck? Officer Johnson, why have you troubled us? They know the racists on the force. They know all of them. Because they get what? Props for being how they are. Why have you troubled us? Go ahead. The Lord shall trouble thee this day. The Lord is going to take vengeance on these slave masters and these oppressors. And if you stand with him in that day, you are going to get punished too.
That's right.
And it's going to be severe. Go ahead.
The Lord shall trouble thee this day. And all Israel stoned him with stones and burned them with fire.
Good night.
After they had stoned them with stones.
Listen now. They took them down into a pit. And Achan, his woman, his children, his cattle, his tent, they was put to death. and the Lord was appeased. I think I tell you there, right? Keep going, yeah. Keep
Come on,
going.
God. Verse 26. And they raised over him a great heap of stones until this day.
Mhm.
So the Lord turned from the fierceness of his anger.
And the Lord turned from his anger when that should happen.
That's right.
You understand?
Come on, God.
You can't play with the Lord.
Come on, God.
You're an officer over there in what? The DCPD, NYPD, whatever else.
Right.
You know you have bad cops. Be a good cop then.
That's right.
Be a good cop. If you can't do it, then maybe you should not be a cop.
Come on, God.
If you can't arrest the man right next to you who you know is a murderer and a rapist, some of them cops be raping women,
Yeah, come on, God, sir.
selling drugs. If you can't arrest him, give up your badge because
Right.
you're really a punk.
Right.
You really arrest a poor brother who don't have no power to fight you back on your lives.
Right.
But this dude here, who you know what he doing, everybody know what he doing. You scared to arrest him? Why? Because of a check?
Right.
No.
God.
Go ahead.
So like I said, it's really more pathetic because it's not really the money that they're scared to do it. They're scared to have their coworkers look at them like they're weak. Like, oh man, you snitching, man, with the blue line. Like it's, and not to say it's right, but I can understand if you're doing it for money. It's like, okay, it's for money, but if these cats is doing it out of cowardice because they don't want their fellow buddies to look at them like they're weak.
Exactly.
So like, and also they're bullies because anybody who snitches, the rest of everybody gets snitched back. Like whenever there's a call or for help or anything, they won't come.
Well, just don't be no goddamn cop, huh?
Yeah, God.
What? Just don't be a cop. It ain't that goddamn hard enough.
Right, God.
Just get them back the damn badge.
Yeah, God.
Get them back the badge and the gun and come join the Israelite school at UPK.
That's right.
That's all you do. Just walk out the damn precinct.
Yeah,
If
right.
you can't do the right thing there, find a place that you can do the right thing. Don't stay in a place that doesn't like the right thing and start doing the wrong thing.
Right.
This place is evil. I'm retiring effective now.
Right.
What's the to the nearest school from Commander General YAHANNA?
Right.
Come over here. We have officers in here.
God.
Ain't nobody dying under our watch.
That's right.
You get the point?
God.
Ain't nobody raping nobody under our watch.
That's right.
Right? Justice will be served in here.
God.
And man, you can't be afraid to serve justice. And the cowards are.
God.
The absolute cowards. Like all this thing was going on with America, they want to blame black people for it, like that dumb bitch Candace Owens.
Right.
This is their fault. America has denied us justice for so long. Imagine they would have put Zimmerman on death row. Imagine they would put Pantaleno them on death row.
Right.
This cop here, they know that he knew George Floyd.
Right.
But the charges is not first degree, it's not murder with intent, it's something else. They're asking for this type of civil unrest.
Oh, God.
They want it. They absolutely want it.
God.
And this is what they get. And I'm not sorry for them in the buildings.
Right.
I'm not telling nobody go burn no building down. It's unlawful. But America, I'm sorry for you. You'd rather watch your country go up in flames than exact justice on your own people.
Right.
I can't feel sorry for you for that. But you dirty cops, all of you are bad. You're all evil.
Right.
Now, last thing, let me deal with what's his face? Come on, Barack, read it out for me out. Help me out. Let me give me what's his face.
No, that was on the
And somewhere on YouTube, right?
No, you want Flatbush.
Oh, Flatbush. Yeah, okay,
There's one
Con.
over Flatbush.
Con, I got it, sir.
There's the two of them two comments.
Okay. Well, I'll read the first one, sir. Hold on. What's the first one that he said? I got the one that he said. IOF Israelites of Flatbush. He said, "Bring it out. Love DC I.S.U.P.K camp no matter."
Hold on, you read the one from on top of that.
Okay. He said,
Just read it.
I asked a Hebrew Israelite group, IUIC, about knowing you are a Hebrew Israelite. Can you join Esau's army or police force? They bring up Cornelius. But I think about Moses' response of brutality of his brother or his brother.
Right. They bring up Cornelius. Was Cornelius any truth?
Yeah.
Huh?
Lies, sir.
Cornelius was not in truth.
Right.
He did not follow Christ. So if that's their defense, then they admitting they're not in truth.
Right.
You get the point?
Okay.
Cornelius was one of the 12, neither the 5,000.
Right.
He was a brother who was in the Roman legion, who, when he spoke to Christ, he respected Christ and
Right.
Christ's authority, which is good,
Right.
but he wasn't under the truth. And Cornelius is not like he was in the truth and went and joined the police force.
Right.
He was a brother who was in the world and joined the army, just like so many brothers do unknowingly.
Sir.
But of course, when they figure it out,
Yep.
they try to get out of that nonsense.
Yep.
You understand? General Haas was a SWAT commander, and I think an ex-Navy SEAL. He was top tier. I mean, you know what SWAT commander is?
Right.
That's the nigga who controls the SWAT team.
Right.
He left that shit out when he came into the truth.
Okay.
He left. They begged him not to leave because he was so valuable to them. He said, "No, I'm gonna go serve my people."
Right.
You get the point? Now, if you want to talk about joining Esau's military, that's what you got to look at.
Right.
A man who's willing to walk away from this empire for the sake of his people.
Right.
The people faggots don't know nothing about that.
Okay.
All right, give me the next one.
Said, bring it out. Love to see I.S.U.P.K camp, no matter what camp you in. If you working for the Most High, telling Israel to keep the commandments and separate from America, we are all on the same team.
Okay, IOF, right? Israelites of Flatbush. We are not all on the same team. All right.
Right.
Everybody play football, right?
Duh.
Two teams on the field. They're both trying to score. Are they on the same team?
Nah, lie.
They both have a quarterback. Are they on the same team? They both have a wide receiver, right? And they're trying to reach what? The end zone. Are they on the same team?
Nah.
I don't care if you wake up the same time I wake up. We're not the same, dude. We're not the same.
Right.
You understand? In order for us to be the same, you have to be with me.
That's
You
right.
have to be with my brothers. You wouldn't be Israelites of Flatbush.
Right.
You get the point?
Right.
I pray Flatbush burns to the ground.
That's
That's
right.
right.
You get the point? Not just Flatbush,
Right.
New York. Not just New York, Connecticut. Not
Right.
just Connecticut, America.
That's right.
We are Israelites of the Lord.
That's
You
right.
get the point?
Okay.
Give me Maccabees real quick.
Okay.
Give me Maccabees just after he killed the king's ambassador.
Okay.
Real quick, all right? Go ahead.
So like I said,
Go ahead.
come on.
No sweat, no sweat.
Shalom.
You have some trouble with that. They're good to go.
Come on.
That's all of that. Move sign correct.
All right.
Right, give me the Maccabees. You have it? Come on, bro. Quickly,
First Maccabees.
Give me first Maccabees chapter 3.
Verse.
Give me just after where he killed the king's son. Yeah, you good to go.
Okay.
Yeah, you might have cleaned that speaker. That bitch camera's on inside. Tear that shit up. Give me just when Mattathias said 27. Give me 2 and 27.
2 and 27.
First Maccabees 2 and 27.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 27. And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the Lord and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me.
Mm-hmm.
So he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that ever they had in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Then many that sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there.
Right? You know about Papa from? No, it's probably not in your Bible.
He got the pocket right there. He didn't go to the
Oh,
it's
help
in the
him
back.
up. Help him up right there quickly. All right, go ahead,
Khan. Verse 28. So he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that they ever had. Then many that sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there.
No, Mattathias said, whoever is zealous of justice and judgment, come follow me. Him and his sons and whoever wanted to go with him left with him and went to the mountains. Then some other men stayed who also sought after justice and judgment. They did not follow Maccabees. Keep reading.
Khan. Verse 30. Both they and their children and their wives and their cattle, because afflictions increased so upon them.
Mm-hmm.
Now when it was told the king's servants, when it was told the king's servants and the host that was at Jerusalem in the city of David, that certain men who had broken the king's commandment were going down into the secret place in the wilderness, they pursued after them in a great number.
Mm-hmm.
And having overtaken them, they camped against them.
Right? So this king, remember Mattathias killed his ambassador. This king wanted Mattathias to eat pork to get Israelites to eat pork. Mattathias said, I'm not eating no pork. Another Israelite decided, I'll eat pork and I'll become the king's friend. As he was walking to the altar, Mattathias came off his horse and killed that nigga. Then he turned to the king's messenger and killed him too. And he said, listen, they're going to come back for revenge for this shit. Whoever is zealous of the law and wants to obey God, follow me. Him, his sons, and anybody who wanted to obey Lord, follow him into the mountains. Other niggas wanted to obey God. They wanted to obey the law. They did not want to follow Mattathias. They went somewhere else into the wilderness. The king heard about that other group, sent men to that other group, and they camped around them. Keep reading.
Verse 32. They pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day.
And made what?
And made war against them on the Sabbath day.
They made war against them on the Sabbath day. Go ahead.
And
the Sabbath day is what? What's the Sabbath day?
The whole day. No one's supposed
A day of
rest.
rest, right? Which is what every fake Israelite holds dear. The Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Happy Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. They hold that so dear, right? And they think they do everything right. Well, let's see. Go ahead.
And they said unto them, let that which ye have done hitherto suffice. Come forth and do according to the commandment of the king, and ye shall live.
Right? The king's men told that group of Israelites who were zealous for keeping the law, just like this Israelites of Flatbush. He said, what? Once we keeping all the law and telling Israel to keep the law, we are on the same team. Well, part of the team is with Mattathias. The other part of the same team is in the wilderness. And they were told, let bygones be bygones. We're not going to charge you all for what Mattathias did. We're willing to forget all transgressions. Just come eat the pork on the Sabbath day. That's what they were told. Keep reading.
But they said, we will not come forth.
Right? They said, hell no. They said, we ain't coming because it's Shabbat Shalom. Go ahead.
Neither will we do the king's commandment to profane the Sabbath day.
And we will not profane the Sabbath day. They was righteous, right? They was obeying laws, right or wrong? They was obeying God's laws, right? Go ahead.
And then they gave them the battle with all speed.
That king, that Greek king, gave them the battle with quickness. That's what we say it in the neighborhood. With the quickness.
Right.
Go ahead.
Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they laid head.
That other group who didn't follow Mattathias, they did not fight back. That's what it means when they said they answered them not, neither they threw a stone. Guess why they didn't fight back? Who knows?
Because it's Sabbath.
Shabbat Shalom. They didn't fight back because Shabbat Shalom. We need to rest. We obey God. God said don't do no work on the Sabbath. We're not going to eat pork, which is right. We're not going to fight on the Sabbath because Shabbat Shalom.
And this is proof where hands up, don't shoot is in the Bible.
Listen, so on. Hands up, don't shoot. You still die.
Yes. And
they all died here that they keep reading.
Nor stopped the places where they laid head, but said, let us die all in our innocency.
Come on now.
Heaven and earth will testify for us that ye put us to death wrongfully.
They said, let's not fight back. Let's all die in our innocency. That's what they said. That's what their leadership told them. Y'all don't fight. Don't call the white man the devil, yo. Don't call him the devil, all right? Just focus on our people. Shabbat Shalom. And then he gave them a good speech. Heaven and earth will testify that we died in our innocency. What is these niggas' names? Anybody know their name?
Martin Luther King.
I mean, that's true. What's their name here? Okay, we know Mattathias' name. We know, what is Mattathias' son's name? The whole family is Maccabees. They're all Maccabees, which in Hebrew is called Maccabees, which means the hammer. But Mattathias, he had sons. One of his sons was Judah or Yahawada HaMakkobah. He had another son named Simon. They're all there in the next chapter, right? He had, I think, 5 sons or 6 sons. They're all there, and they all were given rank over Israel after Mattathias died. We don't know these niggas' names. Guess why? Could have died, obeyed Shabbat Shalom, and not the man the Lord sent to deliver them. It's not enough to just not eat pork, brother. yes, trying to do on behavior tonight. Brother of Israelites of Flatbush. It's not enough to just not eat pork and keep the Shabbat and wear tassels on the end of your t-shirt, as gay as that looks. That's not fringes either. That's not enough to just keep the law. You must follow the man who the Lord sent. If anything, follow him first and learn how to keep the law later.
God.
But follow him. That's what happened with Moses. That's what happened here. That's what happened with Yahushua. Yahushua said what? When you see the Romans coming, flee to the mountains. Did some people flee? No. And they died. You have to follow the man who the Lord sent. Keeping God's laws is not enough. Give me one cold one. John the Baptist. He was the greatest of all prophets, but he'll be the least in the kingdom. Why? Because he sinned? Because he broke God's laws?
He didn't follow Yahushua.
He did not follow the man who the Lord sent.
That's right.
Israelites of Flatbush, we are not on the same team.
That's right.
You might think so. I know what team I'm on. I know which God I serve.
That's right.
You have some time to figure out which God you serve. With that, pass the class over the priest and officer of the question. Let's do some after you do the announcements, all right?
Come. Security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi 3, 8 through 10. Means tenth in Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests. Not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you will give. Upcoming holy convocation is the 51st one that was Passover.
Is just stay tuned for that. Suspended for now. The other one, what's the next one after Feast of First Fruits? That's supposed to be sometime, I think, in September.
Memorial blowing of trumpets.
Memorial, the next high holidays, the memorial blowing of trumpets. We have a few months for that. Stay tuned, stay close to your camp leader for the exact dates. I believe it's somewhere in September, late August or September. I believe it's around there. Memorial blowing of trumpets, all right? Go ahead.
Remind Akim and Aquakim to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you can start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black headbands, and scarves. With that, I say Amida. We're going to give one courtesy, which means to stand. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Man of Israel, Imagine. Shabbat. Imagine Shabbat. Barak. Imagine. Barak.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatham. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatham.
Yazmata. Sir. Sisters, please stand. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat. Imagine. Barak.
Yahweh Shema Adon B'Hashem Yahushua.
Yazmata. Class dismissed.
No sweat, sir. Yeah, kind of one kind.